Have you ever noticed a quiet pattern when it comes to certain people and their money? Think about the Gen Xers in your life. While others are loudly discussing the latest crypto trend or sharing their early retirement milestones online, Generation X tends to stay unusually quiet. They quietly max out their 401ks, hold on to their older cars just a few years longer, and quietly build emergency funds like they are preparing for a long winter. It is a distinct flavor of financial stoicism. But why are they so guarded? They are not hoarding wealth for the sake of status. Beneath that silent, practical exterior lies a deeply wired psychological reflex, built in a world that no longer exists, yet continues to shape every single financial choice they make today. To understand the financial mind of a Gen Xer, we have to look back at the environment that forged it. Picture the late 1970s and the 1980s. It was an era of double-digit inflation, fuel shortages, and shifting family dynamics. This was the generation of the latchkey kid. They walked home to empty houses, made their own after-school snacks, and watched the evening news broadcast economic instability right into their living rooms. This lack of constant supervision was not just a social shift, it was a profound lesson in self-reliance. If a problem arose, you figured it out yourself. This childhood environment fundamentally hardwired their relationship with money. When the economy feels inherently unpredictable, you quickly learn that nobody is coming to save you. Trusting institutions felt risky, so they began relying strictly on their own safety nets.
Let us break down how that past created three defining financial habits. First is what behavioral analysts might call calculated skepticism. Ask a Gen Xer about a guaranteed high-return investment, and their internal alarm bells will instantly ring. They watched the stock market crash in 1987, the dot-com bubble burst, and the housing market collapse. Their brain interprets too good to be true as an active threat. Second, there is a hyper-focus on liquidity and the emergency fund. For them, cash in the bank represents more than purchasing power. It is an emotional shock absorber. It is psychological armor against the unpredictable. Third, they possess a surprisingly low tolerance for keeping up with the Joneses. While debt for assets, like a mortgage, makes sense, going broke for appearances rarely computes. The psychology here is fascinating. They view wealth not as a tool for visibility, but as an invisible force field. Money is primarily seen as a defense mechanism, a quiet promise to themselves that whatever disruption comes next, they will have the resources to ride it out completely unseen and unscathed. We can see just how deeply wired this is when we compare them to those before and after them. The baby boomer generation, raised during a post-war economic boom, often viewed wealth as a direct measure of hard work and institutional loyalty. The system worked for them, so they trusted it. Millennials, on the other hand, facing stagnant wages and soaring housing costs, often lean into lifestyle investing or view wealth as a vehicle for personal experiences and social change. They demand transparency. Sandwiched right in the middle, Gen X watches both sides with curious detachment. They neither fully trust the institutional guarantees of the boomers, nor fully share the optimistic disruption of the millennials. Instead, they occupy this unique psychological middle ground, approaching money with a cool, observational pragmatism. They do not want to fix the system, they just want to make sure they can survive it. Today, that resilient psychology is being tested more than ever before. Generation X is currently operating as the classic sandwich generation. They are caught navigating a complex double bind, frequently funding college tuitions for their children, while simultaneously managing the escalating care costs of their aging parents. It is an immense financial weight. Yet this is exactly where the strength of their unique mindset reveals itself. Many look at the sandwich generation phase and see an impossible squeeze. But because they were raised on a steady diet of independence and contingency planning, Gen X rarely collapses under the pressure.
Their quiet accumulation over the past 2 decades has actively prepared them for this exact storm. What looks to others like intense financial stress is something Gen X processes as a familiar puzzle to be solved methodically behind closed doors. In a world that currently feels more economically volatile than ever, their unique perspective feels surprisingly relevant and deeply educational for the rest of us. We live in an era of rapid market shifts, artificial intelligence disrupting industries, and a relentless stream of financial noise online. The Gen X approach, rooted firmly in private preparedness, calculated skepticism, and radical self-reliance, offers a remarkably stable blueprint for enduring modern economic anxiety. They remind us that the most reliable financial plans are rarely the loudest or the most publicly celebrated. Sometimes real financial mastery is simply about knowing exactly where your exits are and quietly gathering the supplies to weather the storm. Generation X handles their money differently because they understand a fundamental psychological truth. Real wealth is not the flashy car you drive or the disruptive investments you broadcast to the world. It is the profound, silent confidence of knowing that no matter what happens, you can rely on yourself to make it through.